Support for Scottish independence has boomed throughout the coronavirus pandemic, with a range of polls showing Scots have changed their minds about whether they want to be in the UK or not. Could Scotland have an independence referendum without Boris Johnson's consent? Now, the prospect of Indy Ref 2 is growing ever more likely, with Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon laying out a new roadmap for the cause. The resurgence of the desire to leave the Union has come alongside the SNP taking a markedly different approach to tackling the ongoing coronavirus crisis than the UK government, and a considerable dislike for the Prime Minister north of the border. Naturally, such a lead has emboldened Ms. Sturgeon's party, who has revived plans for a potential second independence referendum ahead of the Holyrood election. Now, Ms. Sturgeon has said she will hold an advisory referendum on Scottish independence if the SNP wins a majority in the upcoming Holyrood elections. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has repeatedly refused to allow the First Minister to hold a referendum on the topic despite a clear desire in Scotland for another vote. A recent poll by the Sunday Times has found that all 4 nations of the UK believe Scotland will break away from the Union within the next 10 years. Recent polling in Scotland currently indicates a desire to leave the UK, with polls also by the Sunday Times finding 49% backed independence compared to 44% against, a margin of 52% to 48% if the undecideds are excluded. Nicola Sturgeon asked Mr. Johnson earlier this year to transfer the powers necessary to hold another referendum. In a letter, Mr. Johnson rejected the plea, writing that he cannot agree to any request for a transfer of power that would lead to any further independence referendums. In 2014, Scotland voted 55.3% to stay in the UK. But according to more recent polls, Ms. Sturgeon would be successful in her bid to take Scotland out of the Union if a referendum. However, the question remains of exactly how the First Minister will get a second referendum on the table. Scotland's First Minister told BBC One's Andrew Marr show on Sunday morning, "I want to have a legal referendum, that's what I'm going to seek the authority of the Scottish people for in May, and if they give me that authority that's what I intend to do, to have a legal referendum to give people the right to choose. That's democracy. It's not about what I want or what Boris Johnson wants."